Want to speak real Portuguese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at PortuguesePod101.com.
Oi gente, tudo bom? Paloma here. Welcome to Top 10 Ways to Remember Words. Eu aprendo sobre as raízes das palavras e como palavras diferentes são relacionadas umas com as outras. I learn about the roots of words and how different words are related to each other. É mais fácil de lembrar as palavras quando você sabe as raízes delas. It's easier to remember words when you know the roots. So you can relate some verbs with now, for example, correr, to run, and corrida, running. Also, fight, luta, with fighting, lutar. Eu categorizo novas palavras com outras palavras relacionadas que eu já conheço. I categorize new words with other related words that I already know. I think, for example, you could categorize all words that are related to home. Lar, casa, casão, casarão, casinha. There would be different ways to say home or house in Portuguese. Eu costumo assistir TV ou vídeos no YouTube que são feitos para crianças pequenas. I often watch TV or YouTube videos that are designed for young children. One of my favorite shows when I was little would be Castelo Rá-Tim-Bum, Rá-Tim-Bum Castle. Another one that was my favorite was Cocoricó. Cocoricó is the sound that the roosters do. Cocoricó! Eu procurei alguns vídeos infantis no YouTube para aprender português. I searched for some kids videos on YouTube to learn Portuguese. Eu escuto músicas e memorizo as letras. I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. This is a very nice technique because usually you like the song you're learning, so it's easier to learn. That was one of the ways I learned English. Eu baixei várias músicas brasileiras para aprender português. I downloaded many Brazilian songs to learn Portuguese. Eu falo as palavras em voz alta para que eu possa ouvi-las. I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. One thing is to understand the language and the other thing is to be able to speak and communicate in the language. If you don't try to speak it out loud, you will never know if you can communicate and speak in the language. So you gotta try and don't be ashamed. Não tenha vergonha. Just try to speak it. Eu falo tudo errado, mas eu tento falar em português. I say it all wrong, but I try to speak in Portuguese. Eu falo o máximo possível com falantes nativos. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. If you're speaking with native speakers, there's no way you won't learn the language or the words that you want to remember. Because if you don't say the correct words, they will help you and try to correct you. That's very nice to have people that speak the language to motivate you too. Eu tenho vários amigos brasileiros que me ajudam com meu português. I have many Brazilian friends that help me with my Portuguese. Eu tento pensar em português, porque daí se torna natural para o meu processo de pensamento. I try to think in Portuguese, so it becomes natural to my thought process. One of the things that I noticed when I was learning English is that if you don't think in the language you're speaking, your brain has to do so many translations that you won't be able to become fluent in that language. So try to think little by little in the language you're learning, that it will help you a lot. Quando eu estou pensando em português, eu não consigo pensar em inglês. When I'm thinking in Portuguese, I can't think in English. Eu tento usar a língua repetidamente no contexto da vida cotidiana. I try to use the language routinely in the context of daily life. You can call little things in Portuguese in your house, like nouns, for example, spoon, colher, fork, garfo. You can also use your dog for talking to him in Portuguese and teach him some tricks in Portuguese. A minha professora de inglês só falava em inglês com o gato dela. My English teacher only spoke in English with her cat. That's true. Eu uso a repetição. Ler, escrever e falar as palavras várias vezes. I use repetition. Reading, writing and speaking words over and over again. You know the commercial that is on TV and it's like every 10 minutes the commercial is there again on your TV? There's no way you forget that commercial, right? You gotta do the same with words. You just say that word again and again and again and there will be no way you forget it. Eu precisava decorar uma frase em português e fiquei falando ela o dia inteiro. I needed to memorize a phrase in Portuguese, so I spoke it all day long. Ler o máximo possível, especialmente o jornal, me ajuda a lembrar as palavras. Reading as much as possible, especially the newspaper, helps me to remember words. Newspaper is kind of advanced Portuguese because you won't find easy conversational words, they will be more formal and business words. But if you're already in that level, yeah, that would be a great help for you to read newspaper. Nowadays you can find newspaper online and also on YouTube there are many news channels. So that's a very good way to memorize and remember everyday words. Eu leio o jornal todos os dias para aprender palavras de economia. I read the newspaper every day to learn economy words. O fim, the end. Thanks a lot for watching and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time. Ciao!